guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic and welcome back to the channel. And today for you guys is another Ninjago review. Now, excuse me if I do clear my throat once or twice. It's allergies, it's a pain. But anyway, we're covering the new Ninjago show, Ninjago Dragons Rising. Now, I did see all 10 episodes of this on Netflix. Now, this is not Season 1, and then it's over. It's actually Season 1, Part 1. So that's kind of, I guess, how it's going to go. Part 2 of Season 1 is going to be in the fall, I believe around September. Something like that. But if you are a big Ninjago fan, if you have not seen Dragons Rising, and you care about spoilers, you don't want to get ruined, this will be a spoiler discussion. Not going to be overly long, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I am going to talk about certain characters and certain episodes and certain villains and whatever. So if you haven't seen Dragons Rising, make sure to go watch it. Again, it's on Netflix. I'm sure you can find it on Google Drives or YouTube, you know, if you're really that desperate. But, you know, it is on Netflix that you can go watch right now. The first 10 are available. They kind of just dump them all at once, so I guess that's cool, I guess. But, you know, I guess my brief history of Ninjago has been, I've been a fan since I was, I don't know, 2011, I don't know how old I was, maybe 11, 12, 13, I don't know, probably 11 or 12, and I got the DVD at Target of, you know, Master Spinjitzu Season 1, and even though I say Ninjago's not a kid show, meaning that it's not strictly for children, it's for everyone, it's for, you know, older kids, teens, and adults, this is very much a fact that, you know, I did see it as an older kid, but just straight up, if I were to see Episode 1, Season 1 of Ninjago Show 1 at 24, I would love it even more than what I did when I was 12. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, I loved it because I'm a kid and now I'm an adult, and I love it because I watched it as a kid. No, if I were to watch this as an adult right now for the first time, I guarantee you I'd still be into it. Even more, you know what I mean? It's insane. So yeah, I've seen the entire show. I've seen the Lego Ninjago movie, you know, so I've seen a lot of this stuff, right? I've read the comics, the novels, you know, the Garmadon comics, Spinjitzu Brothers, that kind of thing. I could even do Garmadon's voice. I could even do Wu's voice. I can do Cole. I mean, it's crazy. And the fact that I've been, you know, modeling these voices off these show guys, and it's a shame that, what's his face, Kirby Morrow had to pass away. Don't do drugs, whatever happened to him, drinking, whatever. But, yeah, it sucks. But, you know, point being is that I've been a massive fan of this franchise since day one, essentially. Even though I haven't seen it on Cartoon Network, I got it on a DVD at Target or something like that a while ago, and I was like, hey, this is pretty good. This is a good show, I'll stick with it. And upon being 24 years old now, seeing Ninjago show number 2, Dragons Rising, I can safely say that this new show is a worthy addition to the franchise. It's not perfect. I have one or two issues that are some small. One of them's pretty big, but I guess we'll just get into it. So Dragons Rising, of course, is the next evolution of the Ninjago franchise, right? You have Lloyd, you have all the ninja, they're kind of back, but then you have Aaron, who's voiced by a black dude, but he's yellow-skinned. So I don't know if he's supposed to be black in the show or if he's like yellow equals white, I guess. I don't know how that works. He's yellow, okay? There's no black people in the show. I don't know how that works. He's a great voice actor. I'm just saying I don't know how the skin color of Lego minifigures works in this franchise, because everyone's effing yellow, but unless you're a ghost or something. But Aaron is a good voice actor. He kind of does sound a little bit like Jay sometimes, not gonna lie, but he is good, and I think Aaron as a character is pretty strong. Obviously, he starts out as a kid, you know, before the merge happens, and his kind of arc of becoming a ninja is just, hey, I was a kid, my parents got zooped away or whatever, they're dead, I don't know, something happened to them. They're kind of like poofed in reality, because as we know, the 16 realms of Ninjago, right? You got Ninjago, obviously, you got Chima, the realm of madness, Oni and dragons, you got X amount of realms. And in the first show, they're kind of separated. In this new show, the merge happens, and that's just kind of like sucks them into one gigantic area. You know, Ninjago literally effing gets 16 times bigger, essentially, now that every realm is quite literally merged into each other. And I think that's pretty cool. So Aaron is like, hey, my parents are gone, I'm going to be a ninja. I love the ninja, you know, Lloyd, Kai, all the OG original ninja. I love them. So, hey, I'm gonna follow in their footsteps and be a ninja. And he's got this cool grappling hook thing, and yeah, he's cool. He's pretty funny and all that. And then you got Sora, aka Anna. I think she's really cool. Again, I was a little nervous, a little skeptical going into this, because as soon as I saw the pink hair and the kitty cat ears, I said, oh crap, we're into some real shit now. You know, she's gonna be, you know, some wokeified, you know, left-wing message thing, and thankfully there's nothing political in the show, either left or right. Thankfully, it's just a good show with good characters, and yeah, Sora's a pretty damn good character. Again, once you kind of figure out her origin and all that in the realm of Imperium, which is like this gigantic, you know, city kind of overflowing with dragon energy and all that. And of course, there's some shady shite, obviously. And it works, you know, I mean, it maybe isn't as dark as the Oni and Dragon trilogy, no. Is it as funny as, say, season... I mean, none of Ninjago is funny, but not really, because it's not a comedy. But I do think that this season, or this new show so far, does strike a neat balance between darkness and comedy. Because when this show gets dark, I mean, they get dark as hell. And it pisses me the F off when I see top 10 kid shows, and Ninjago's number 1. Ninjago is not a kid show. It's an animated show. There's kid shows, there's animated shows, there's adult shows. Ninjago is an animated show. It's for everyone. It's not a kid's show. And I know that's how Netflix brands this stuff, but it's still effing annoying. And I'm not just saying that because I'm trying to prove, like, it objectively isn't. Like, there's more adults and teens watching it than there are toddlers. Half the damn kids don't even understand what it is. Half the time, my mom doesn't understand what it is. And I'm like, oh no, this is that, and this is that, and this is this. Nanny and Poppy are watching it, and they're doing a great job, actually. We're on season 12 now of the first show. But yeah, the point of the message, I hate when it's called a kid show. It's not. It's just an animated show. It's for everyone. And speaking of that, when it gets dark, it gets pretty freaking dark. Of course, none of Ninjago is adult only, where they're saying, you know, shit, and there's blood, and there's sex, and, you know, it's not that adult. But when it gets dark, it gets dark. You know, they capture dragons. That's dark. They torture them and sometimes kill them to get their energy to power the city. That's dark. They say kill, destroy, murder, slay them. No survivors. Spare no one. There's action. There's lasers. There's explosions. There's punching and kicking. There's hitting people over the head with blunt objects. There's spears. A character throws a metal pipe at Lloyd and he hits it with his green power and it like shing, and like sharply impales a wall. That could have killed him. There's a scene where Lloyd, something happens to him. I'm not going to spoil this because it's really, really crazy. But something happens and Lloyd gets a vision of something, and that's really dark. And then you also kind of blend that with the humor, where, look, Ninjago's never been funny, as in that funny. You know, every time they try to do a joke in Ninjago, when it's not Jay, I feel like 9 times out of 10, it falls flat on its face. Because Ninjago at its heart is an action drama. It's not a comedy, right? It's not SpongeBob. It's not Adventure Time. It ain't regular show. It's not The Simpsons, Rick and Morty, whatever, Looney Tunes show. It's trying to be its own thing. And when there are funny moments in this new show, Season 1, Part 1, thankfully it does, I actually did laugh. It actually does make it funny. You know, there's 1 or 2 jokes that are kind of weird, like wrapped in one of the new villains of Imperium. There's a few moments where the claws of the Imperium, as they're called, they're kind of like the First Order, or like the Empire, you know, like the foot soldiers and shit. They're kind of running around, and, you know, there's an intense, crazy effing battle scene, and dragons are fighting, and people are doing kicks and punches. It's insane. And you get wrapped in, like, unicorns! They're cool! You know, or just little stuff like that. So I would say 9 times out of 10, though, the first show, it didn't land. This, so far, for me, it's landing, which is good. Not every joke lands where I'm laughing out of my seat and I'm falling out of my chair like an idiot, but, you know, there's one, you know, I'm chuckling, you know what I mean? I think that, for the most part, the writing for the humor is pretty good. The writing in terms of when it gets dark is really good. Just the whole idea of Lloyd kind of becoming this new sensei, where he doesn't, you know, he doesn't see a sensei in himself. He just sees Lloyd, you know what I mean? Just trying his best. And Eren and Sora, they're kind of looking up to him as this Master Wu type figure. And that's the best, probably the best thing about this show, is that they're actually able to go in a good direction, where it doesn't feel like they're retreading old ground. It doesn't feel like, oh man, we've seen this 1,000 times. The only thing that's a bit samey is the whole dragon thing. I know it's called Dragons Rising, but the whole capturing of dragons and all that. I know, you know, Season 9 Hunted of the first show, they captured and kind of tortured dragons for the elemental powers. And then they would kill and eat them, which is even more dark than this. In this, they're just capturing, torturing them for their energy. Still left up because it's an animal, and it's really kind of demented, where you see these, like Dr. Leroux and all these scientists of Imperium. There's a scene where Eren kind of runs into the claws, and they're kind of like these, you know, young teens kind of training to become foot soldiers for the Imperium city. And they're like, yeah, these dumb animals, they don't even know, they can't feel pain, they don't have a brain, they're stupid brain-dead animals, you know, and it's really, I don't want to say it's like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 level shit, but like for a Lego show, I know that the first show went hard as fudge, alright? Like, I don't know how Cartoon Network agreed to have that on show, but this one, it's like, a Lego show. You know what I mean? And I know that doesn't mean automatically it's for children, because it's not. Lego's for everyone. But, you know, Lego is a family-friendly thing, right? It's for everyone. It's not just for adults. It's not just for kids. So the fact that you have to hit this balance with older kids and adults, it's kind of crazy. They kind of favor the adults, which they've been doing since the beginning, practically. I know Season 1 and 2 was a bit not as dark, but it's still there. But I just find it really unique that they're like, yeah, we're just going to torture these things for their energy, like F it. You know, it's just like violence and shit. It's crazy. But the action is good. The world building is very good with the merge and kind of the, you know, all these different elements and all these different realms kind of, you know, colliding. I think that's good. I think Lloyd training is good. Again, that's a good evolution. Where it doesn't feel like they're retreading all ground and they're like, oh man, it's the same thing over and over and over and over again. You know, we got to make them toys. You know, I say this all the time. When Ninjago first started, it was the spinners and whatever, and the toys were made, and then they made the show. And the Ninjago show was never about, it was never a glorified commercial. Some could say it is because it's a Lego Ninjago show based on Lego Ninjago toys, so there is a sense of that. But primarily, the show has always been well made. It was never like, you know, they don't say in the show, I need all of you ninja to go buy the latest toy at Toys R Us. You know, I mean, they don't do that. It's just a good show. And then I was like, oh, this show's dope as fudge. I'm going to go buy the set. You know, I have friends that watch this show, both of them, and they don't even buy the sets. Like, they're just like, yeah, it's a good-ass show. Let's watch the next season. Oh, you going to buy that? No, I don't really build Lego. I like the show, though. You know, it's really cool they can do that. So, yeah, now this show, especially later in the first show, but now especially with this show, the show kind of promotes the toys. It's not the other way around. You know, it used to be the toy promotes the show, now it's the show promotes the toy. Because this show, I mean, dude, we've gotten a movie, we've got video games, comic books, novels, a show, and we're on show number 2. That just goes to show how freaking big this franchise is. You know, I mean, it's insane. The fact that they can put Chima, a pretty bad show in my opinion, but it's actually a show that they actually put into this canon, just shows how big the world is and that they're going to keep expanding on it. And having these characters like Sora and Aaron, and having all these Imperium bad guys and all that, it's really quite cool. And yeah, you know, you only kind of see a few ninja. You know, see Lloyd, of course. You see Kai and Nia. There's one other ninja that kind of comes back at the end. But you know, it's not like every ninja's there. You know, I mean, it's really focusing on Aaron and Sora, which I think is good. I think in the future we should have a little bit more of the OG original ninja and not focus strictly on these guys. But at the same time, I think what they're doing is actually pretty good. And yeah, I mean, the animation, first of all, it's just freaking beautiful. Like it's like I was watching on Netflix, genuinely good animation. Like the lighting is amazing, the fidelity of the character models is great. You know, the show has always been good in terms of animation, but if you watch season 1 of the first show and then you watch this season 1 of this show, it's a big freaking, it's night and day. It's crazy. And you know, even just watching, you know, Crystallized season 15 of the old show, which was good. That was done by Wild Brain, and now we have. I think it's Wild Brain doing it again, but it feels more like the classic Will film, like the Oni and Dragon trilogy, but just stepped up. It's really good stuff. Voice acting is great, of course. In terms of negatives, I really don't have a whole lot. You know, there's a few jokes here or there that kind of miss. You know, there's this really crazy battle scene, and it's intense, and then you have this character wrapped in just making a joke. And I get it. I don't. They're not doing it because, oh, the kids are watching, gotta break it up. No, they're just doing it because it's funny and it works. Sometimes, though, it doesn't work. Again, I know humor is subjective, but for me, when I'm watching a badass, crazy battle scene, I don't want to be interrupted by some guy talking about whatever, you know what I mean? Or a guy talking about his shoulder pads for a freaking year. It's like, just show the battle and then do whatever you gotta do later, you know what I mean? For God's sake. But, you know, there's just 1 or 2 jokes that don't land. Now, the biggest negative is the beginning of season 9. You probably saw it. I gotta spoil it because it's the biggest negative. It's the worst thing about this show. You've seen it. If you haven't seen it, you haven't seen the show, I don't know what you're doing. But Nanny and Poppy, I know we'll get to it because we're on season 12. We'll get to it. Don't worry. But hopefully you're not watching this, by the way. If you're watching this, get out now because I don't want to ruin it for you. But there's a scene in the beginning of season 9, episode 9, season 1, where you see Master Wu and Lloyd, young Lloyd, like season 1 Lloyd, when he's a little tight kid, you know, he just discovered he's the Green Ninja, and he's training with Wu. This is canon. it's a flashback, and it's Wu training, and it's kind of, it's a good message. It really resonated with me for many reasons, which I won't get into a soppy story. But, Wu was just kind of teaching him a lesson. And Lloyd, oh boy, there's some problems. So Lloyd has the green eyes in this flashback. Now, first of all, you could say, well, franchise, they're trying to promote the Ninjago United sets or whatever, because he's got the green eyes in the sets, so they're trying to... No. Okay, I don't care. If this is the one time they want to be a toy commercial, wrong time to do it, alright? This is a canon flashback. It's supposed to be a big thing, and they ruined it. So yeah, Lloyd... In the canon, in the lore of this show, Lloyd gets green eyes starting with Season 8. Because, obviously marketing because of the Lego Ninjago movie, but in the lore, in the canon of the show, Lloyd gets his green eyes because he's becoming more powerful, right? That's the nature. He's the green ninja. So as his skills build, his eyes are green because he has so much green energy inside of him. That's just how it is, As he gets more powerful, that just happened. And it's amazing. That's a great choice to make. But in this flashback, this was again in Season 1 when he should have had black eyes, not green. Mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 is his uniform, his outfit. He did not have that outfit in Season 1 or 2. And don't tell me, switch. No, he didn't switch for that one scene, okay? He didn't hang on, Master Wu, let me switch my gi. No. Mistake number 2. Mistake number 3, it's not Jillian Michaels. Jillian Michaels, a girl, voiced Lloyd, a boy, from Season 1 to Season 7. Now, I think that works for the most part. I think they should have went with a dude like in Season 3 or 4. But, for little kid Lloyd, it worked to have a girl voice him, right? It works. If you watch the show, it fits. And the fact that they didn't get Jillian Michaels to voice Lloyd in this flashback, and I don't care that it's a 2-minute flashback. I don't care. The budget on this show looks pretty big, right? The animation's great, the voice acting's good, the editing's good, the shots are great. It's got a big budget for a Lego show. Probably one of the bigger ones. Bigger than Dreams, bigger than Chima, bigger than Nexo Knights, you know what I mean? It's probably on par with the other Ninjago show, maybe even a little bit more. So the fact that they couldn't ask Jillian to come back kind of effing blows. And they got Sam Vincent, who starting with Season 8 has been voicing Lloyd, and again, he's a dude. And, he's probably my favorite voice actor in the entire show. But to have him be like, in Dragon's Rising Episode 8, he's like, okay, ready? We're ninja. We need to do this. Okay. Yeah. Whatever. I know it's not perfect, but it sounds like that. And then, you go from like, Master Wu said we need to join as a team, and we can do this. It's kind of like cool, but whatever. I'll practice. In the Dragon's Rising thing, he's like, yeah, okay, Master Wu. He just sounds like Morty. It's like, it's not good. They just told Sam, sound like a little kid. Or, spend a few $100 to get Jillian back and say, record this shit, please, thanks. It's jarring. It doesn't work. It's a canon mistake. Because he's got the green eyes, wrong uniform, wrong voice, and maybe I'm looking too much into it. But again, as such a massive fan of the show, everyone, like the writers from the Hageman brothers to these new guys, Doc Wyatt and whatever the other guys, everyone here cares about the canon, right? This is not like some stupid Lego Ninja show anymore. This is like a big, big thing, and they want to get everything right. And they didn't get it right. Maybe, again, promoting the set, I don't give a fudge. You know what I mean? Stop that. We'll buy the sets because the show was good. You don't need to hit me over the head with your advertisement. And the one time to do it, probably the worst time to do it, because it's a good flashback, and they kind of poop it over with, Lloyd completely looking like a freaking guy from Mars or something. He looks like he's from the Madness realm or something. He doesn't look like Lloyd, doesn't sound like Lloyd. It's a horrible, it's an otherwise beautiful scene that is ruined because the canon inconsistencies are so awful and bad. It's very jarring and kind of bad. But other than that, though, the show is phenomenal. I love the action. I love the writing. I love the humor for the most part. I think the new characters are good. Again, we're going to be getting Part 2 of Season 1 in September sometime in the fall of this year. So, of course, I will be watching and reviewing that as well. And we're going to get a lot of answers, or a lot of questions answered in that time, I'm assuming. Because there's a lot of stuff. You got Source Dragons. You get the matriarch, this dragons, they can now like talk telepathically, and I literally had to Google that. I was like, we've never heard that before. What the fudge is going on? Because Lloyd, she's like, yeah, the matriarch. Okay, we need to do this, and it's like, oh, Like, Lloyd should be like, wait, this thing's talking? You know, I don't know. But, you know, there's a few little things like that. One or two things I don't agree with. But overall, it's funny, it's action-packed, it's insane. And I'm very much looking forward to Season 1, Part 2 in the fall. One or two little gripes here or there. Nothing too insane. I do think this is an overall really good start to a brand new Ninjago show. Hopefully this can get even more popular than it is. Even though it's the #1 kids show in the US and I believe in Canada or like the UK or something like that. So it's doing well. It's getting good reviews, good ratings. A lot of people are watching it. And, you know, it's really, really quite awesome to see this animated show really get a lot of love. Because that's what it is. You know what I mean? I hate when people do that. And I also hate when they, you know, they kind of go, oh, well, I'm not going to watch that because it's Legos. I'm going to watch Game of Thrones, or I'm going to watch an adult animated show like Harley Quinn. I was watching Harley Quinn the other day. Horrible show. Like, the first few episodes are alright, and then it just gets woke and it gets horrible. But the adult animated standard is, we got to say fuck, and we got to have sex, and we got to say tits, and we got to show gore. It's like, that shouldn't constitute as adult. I know that's technically adult, because you kind of have to be an adult. It's like the rating, but this Lego Ninjago show has more adult themes and messages, and it doesn't need to say the F word. It doesn't need to show Nia naked, which it doesn't need to have this extreme gore, and, you know, Lloyd doesn't have to swear every 5 seconds to have the adult label. This show, and the first show especially, but this show still has enough adult messages where, you know, I mean, it's crazy that it's still labeled a kid's show. It's not, you know, I mean, if you go on Netflix, before it was even entitled, you know, these different, you know, streaming services had adult interests. So clearly, you know, if you just, I swear, like, YouTube it. There's more adults watching it than children. So I hate that. It's a stigma. It needs to die out. And I'm not saying kids can't watch it. I'm just saying it shouldn't be called a kid show because it's not for kids. It's for everyone. Just call it animation. That's what it is. It's an animated show. And it's really annoying to see that. And, you know, if you actually watch the show, if you're like, franchise, you're full of crap, watch the show. I swear to God, it's more adult than any adult show I've seen. I haven't seen every adult show in the world, but I've seen a lot of, you know, R-rated MA shows. You know, Harley Quinn, Rick and Morty, if you can call The Simpsons, you know what I mean? What have you. There's probably a few others I'm not remembering. But I swear to God, I'm not just saying this. Ninjago is the most adult show I've ever watched. I mean, the messaging alone. And again, when I say adult, again, like I said, I don't mean like extreme violence. Even though there is violence and there is a lot of adult material, believe it or not, there's a public shooting scare. There is a suicide attempt in a Lego show. Yes, I'm not making that up. It's in the show. And, you know, they do tackle extremely dark subjects. And I just hate that, you know, if, like, this is more adult than the Harley Quinn show, where all they do is, you know, for some reason the Western adult animation is just raunchy jokes and sex and extreme gore. That's not adult to me. That's just immature shit. You know what I mean? This Ninjago show is more adult than any adult show I've seen. It's insane. But, yeah, it's great so far, man. I'm loving it, and very much looking forward to Season 1, Part 2 in the fall. And again, a few negatives here or there, you know, especially that Lloyd thing. One or two jokes don't really hit. But I think the story's really good. I think it's a good evolution of the franchise, a good evolution of the characters and the writing. Not perfect, you know, like that magician guy wearing all purple. Not really a good villain. He's kind of like a Scooby-Doo villain, which makes sense for Eren and Sora in the beginning as like their first villain. It's kind of like the ninja fighting Samukai, the Skulkin from like the pilot and stuff, you know what I mean? He's not really a threat. Just kind of there. So, you know, not a great villain right there, but I think that, you know, Queen Beatrix, Lord Raz, for the most part, wrapped in, they're pretty good. Again, when the humor hits, it hits. When the action hits, it hits. When it's really dark, it's really dark. And, you know, I think it's a really great start to a really good show. So tell me in the comments down below, without spoiling it, what you thought about Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 1, Part 1. Again, cannot wait to cover more of this show. If you have any questions, or you have any Ninjago-related topics to the video games, or the comics, or the novels, or the, you know, the first show, you know, Season 1 to 15, or even just, hey, what are your thoughts on Dragons Rising, this part or that part? Tell me in the comments down below, and I'll shout you out, and I will do the video if you ask, because any excuse I have to talk about Ninjago, I will definitely get. I should have worn my Ninjago shirt. It is a Lego shirt, but I don't even know if you can see it. But, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm having fun with the show, and I can't wait to see what comes further in the future of this amazing show. And yeah, man, I'm loving it so far, and it's just crazy that we've come this far. You know what I mean? It's insane. It's just nuts. You know what I mean? Like, it should have ended at Season 2 and we got a season 1 to 15, and now we're on a new show, and then we got a movie, we got comics, novel books. You know, they're not like this big, but you know, they're novels, they're books, and it's just the world building and the lore is just getting bigger and bigger, and they're expanding on it. It's really becoming like a Star Wars MCU type franchise, and I hope they can continue to make it good without making it super kiddie or woke or stupid. Again, if they can continue making it the way it is right now, which is just good, solid entertainment that everyone, regardless of age, can enjoy, I think they're really gonna, hit a home run with this one for the second time. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.